Grandpa, why are you always sitting around with that dusty old rifle?
Boy, back in my day, all you needed was a high-powered rifle. My Remington right here. It done me nothing but good in my life. 30-06. It's a man's rifle.
Welcome to the Surplus Boys channel.
Welcome to our channel.
Welcome to the channel. And obviously,
This gun looks familiar.
This gun looks kind of familiar. Not really, actually.
No,
in all
actually,
honesty.
there's not a lot of
From afar, it doesn't really look that familiar.
You'd think it's a regular sporting
Yeah,
rifle.
and then also, that's the funny thing. We are the Surplus Boys channel. This is obviously a sporting
This
arm.
is the first sporting rifle we're going to talk about.
Yeah, but in technicality, this is also surplus. So, pretty much what this is right here, this is Remington's Model 30 Express. That's what this one actually is specifically. So what the Remington Model 30 Express is pretty much after World War I, so after the designation of the P-14, the English version of the model of 1917 that we used during World War I. After that was all said and done, Remington had these factories that obviously had a lot of employees and they needed to make guns. So what they decided to do was pretty much, all right, well, we have this nice gun here, and then a nice bolt gun that is uses a high-powered cartridge, the 30-06 cartridge. So use this as a sporting arm. So pretty much those bad boys. So pretty much what they did is they kind of obviously shrunk it down a bit, did a lot of things with the stock and whatnot, and with the receiver up here, the receiver bridge, and obviously with the sights to make it more of a sporting arm. Why not? Because
it's one of the few factory sporterized military rifles.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know of really many others.
Yeah, there's really not many others.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense. They had the tooling for it.
Yeah, but it was a factory sporterized military rifle.
Yeah, the action works almost identical.
This is cock on open though.
This is cock.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a bit. I'm gonna go get in a little bit of history on that. With
don't try putting a cock on closed 1917 bolt.
No,
actually, no, it works. Don't put a cock on open one of these bolts in a 1917.
Yeah, we tried it. Do not put this bolt in a piece in model 1917.
They are very similar, but not at the same time.
Yeah, they'll lock in place and it'll be a pain in the ass to get them out.
We had to take the whole gun apart.
And then I'll have to believe that too. Also, one thing, a bit of information for Remington. This is in technicality, not necessarily, but this is Remington's first commercially successful high-powered bolt gun. First one they actually did was the Remington Lee back between 1899 and 1909, but they only made like 1,500 of those.
Wait.
What?
Remington Lee. Remember that name, Lee?
Yeah,
That's
Lee.
going to come up a lot.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, it's Surplus Boys. We're talking about a lot of those people.
Exactly.
But,
Lee is an American designer that designed a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
So pretty much when they first started making these, the idea actually came pretty much as soon as World War I was over. They were like, all right, well, we need to make a sporting arm. And it took them until, I think, 1921 to actually start getting these out. It was originally called the Remington Model 30. And with that, it actually had a lot of more relative features to this guy right in front of us here than actually this Express version has. So what these would have, it wouldn't have these Express style sights, actually. It would have your normal peep sight. Obviously not as crazy as the one you would see on the P-17. It was a lot smaller. Still, they cut down the weight a lot. Pretty much the bolt itself was a cock on closing originally, because that's what they had. And then one thing they did, you'll see here, the indicative 1917 bump on the bottom, they actually trimmed that down. So the magazines on these are a little bit shorter, so they do only hold 5 instead of the 6 that you'd see on a 1917. That was the original Model 30. And then about, I think, 4 or 5 years later, I think 1926, that's when they made this guy. So this is the Express version. Obviously, they changed the sights. Same thing with the stock. The stocks pretty much were the same all the way around. This Schnabel type forend, I think that's what they call it.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Also, these are now cock on open.
Learning new words today.
Yeah. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. That's what I got educated in.
You can fact check us on the
Yeah. Give us a fact check. Probably all wrong. Anyway. So, and that's pretty much it. That's what makes this gun. And then they did make another version called the 720. which then turned into the 722, 724. I don't know too much about those guns because they just don't interest me as much as this. So
That was blunt and to the point. I like
yeah,
that. I get it.
This gun is kind of cool, but in reality, I kind of got it for a bargain.
It's cool because of
I
the
wouldn't have
history.
bought it if I saw it on the rack anyway. It came across.
It's cool because of what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not because we like it.
If you've seen the 1917 video, you kind of know more history on the origins of this gun. Other than that, these were designed by two guys I couldn't get too much information on, a Mr. Chauncey C. Loomis and a C.H. Barnes. I have no clue who they are. I'm guessing they were representatives at Remington that helped sporterize the 1917 there. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much history, and that's about it. They didn't obviously do very commercially successfully, and I think they went until 1940. Obviously, World War II happened. Remington had to ramp back up production of war materials instead of sporting arms, like most.
As everybody did.
Yeah, pretty much everybody. And also, one quick thing I completely forgot here: the triggers on these. Originally, they were with the Model 30. They were originally the two-stage style trigger that you'd see on most military arms at the time. When they made the Express, though, they actually changed it back over, or brought it back over to what most hunters preferred, which was a single-stage trigger. So that is one difference between those two guns that you will see if you acquire one of these. The Express itself, specifically, is the most made. They only made almost 23,000 of them. The actual Model 30, they only made 3,000. So that is obviously quite a big difference. And then that 720 I talked about before, they only made like 2,500. So obviously pretty meager numbers for Remington. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So we're going to bring you guys in a little bit closer to get a nice deeper look on some of the small little things that make this gun slightly unique, especially for Remington collectors. These are not the easiest to find. So yeah, we'll bring you back here and that'll be it. All right, now we have the Remington Model 30 in here a little bit closer. As you can see, we also have our 1917 as well for a little bit of reference. So to first start, I'm going to go with a little bit of the markings here. Obviously on these, you would see a little bit more embellishment, I guess, on markings than you would see on the military style rifles. And so, very hard to see there. Remington and the patent elephants right there. And then if you flip the gun around, and here you'll see the Model 30 Express serial number. So this is, I think, in the middle of the range for these, the production of these rifles. Obviously, Springfield 30 cal of 1906. And then on this side, again, I'm flipping this gun over a million times. You see, I think that's the inspector marking right there. Other than that, there's no import markings on this gun, obviously. This was made here, and it did not come back from overseas. You'll see, if I can get that in frame, Remington Arms Co., Inc., Remington, Alien Works, Alien, New York, made in USA. Other than that, markings-wise, there's really not much else. These weren't obviously marked like the military guns, just because they didn't really need to. Bolt works pretty much identical to a 1917. Put that down for a second. So obviously, if you've seen the 1917 video, identical pretty much. The only difference between this bolt and the one for that gun is that this is actually a cock on open. They changed it when they came out with the Model 30 Express. So pretty standard Mauser bolt, almost direct copy. For this, obviously, if you want to take this apart, you got to pull the striker up and spin this thing around. I'm not going to do that because I don't have the fingers for it. It's freezing in this garage. So, not going to happen. Sorry. Go to somebody else for that. No, just kidding. Stay here, please. Anyway, so put the bolt back in the gun. That's pretty easy. Obviously, this is your, what do you call it, bolt release when you try to take the bolt out. It just slaps right back in, just like that. And then same thing as on the 1917. This is your safety. This is in the fire position. Safety's on. You can't work the bolt at all. You can't, trigger is disconnected. So very standard, nice safety. One thing you'll see, I'll bring actually the 1917 up a little bit closer if I can to show the floor plates. You'll see that the 1917 does have a hump. This one does not. This actually is a lot more of a nice contour instead of that abrupt wedge bump that you usually see on the 1917. Other than that, obviously pistol grip, a little bit more, much harder angle than you would see on a 1917. Obviously, this is a sporting gun. Checkering, also one thing I think I didn't mention before. Originally on the Model 30s, checkering was not a standard option. That was for the deluxe models. For this guy, halfway through, I think, their production, checkering was standard. They did make carbines of these actually as well. This is a 24-inch barrel. They did make carbines on a 20-inch barrel. I can't imagine that with 30-06. That'd be a pretty oomphy guy. These were also chambered in a number of other cartridges, 30-06 being the first. Then they started using different Remington rounds, everything from 25 Remington up to 35 Remington. Obviously, those cartridges will probably provide much more of a premium. 30-06 is the most common. Then I think 256 Roberts or something like that. Butt plate back here, obviously is of a crescent style with some nice ribs on it for a little bit of grip so you're not sliding off of it. This gun actually was, I bought it off of a friend for very cheap. So he didn't take very good care of it. His uncle owned it apparently, and obviously you see scuffing on the wood there and stuff. You have one loop for, or at least one little stud for a sling on the front, and that one is missing. So, okay, cool. And then the sights, your standard express sights you'll see on most hunting rifles of the time during the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and pretty much up until, you know, the 50s and 60s and such. I don't know if I can get an actual sight picture, probably not. Very standard for the time. Nothing too special. The front sight actually is supposed to have, I think, not an ivory bead, but a bead inside of there. This gun is actually damaged. The sight doesn't have it. It actually got crushed. And I'm going to tell you, I have shot this. This is not the most pleasant gun to shoot. It's a hunting rifle, I understand. You're meant to shoot it once, twice in a day to get whatever deer or whatever you're hunting. And that's it. You're not supposed to actually be really shooting at the range, testing it, and doing things like that. Like me and Patrick like to do here. But yeah, other than that, try to bring the P17 or 1917 a little closer to kind of show you a little bit of the differences on the bridge and stuff. It is going to be a bit of a pain. I'm going to keep the barrels down, but you can kind of see, obviously, the familiarities in the receivers there. Obviously, the big, huge wings that cover the aperture sight are not there. They got rid of that and pretty much replaced it with those nice, boring express sights. Obviously, no full handguard. You don't really need that. This isn't a military gun. You're not putting a bayonet on it. They definitely chopped these down a bit. These are shorter by, I think, 3 inches barrel length-wise. You can kind of see if I can hold them correctly. See, obviously, the belly that the 1917 has, that allows it to actually have 1 extra round, so that holds 6. This does not have a belly. It just has enough space for 5 rounds. One thing that's great about this gun as well, which if you've seen us before in the shorts, this will actually take a standard US stripper clip. So for this guy, you see you have your feed lips right there for that. Let me take the safety off here. Let me grab a clip. So standard US clip of the time. These are dummy rounds, not loaded. Not with any powder or primer. So you can see there. Look at that. You got a hunting gun that can take stripper clips. So you can shoot, you have an onslaught of Nazi deer coming at you. You can just load up the gun completely. Like that, really easy. No need to single load. Sorry, 1917. And that's it. So that is one little tiny thing that is pretty cool about this gun. These do take, as well, Swedish Mauser clips, just like the 1917 does. Pretty much everything to do with the receiver on this is almost identical. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So oh, also one thing I completely forgot. We'll actually try this trigger here. We'll do a little bit of a grand thumb action. So these, unlike those have two-stage triggers. These actually have single-stage, these Model 30 Expresses. So very, very quick trigger, very quick single-stage trigger. There is like literally not even a millimeter take up until you get a nice clean break. So, and I know, yeah, I dry fired the gun, whatever, who cares, FUD lore, whatever. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you. And yeah, we're bringing it back up to a farther view for a bit of our conclusions there. So, all right, now that we got you back there and kind of went over everything with the Model 30 here, it's yeah, it's a pretty cool gun. Conclusions-wise, I mean, if you're a Remington guy and you really want one, they're a little bit difficult to find. They're not the easiest thing. Obviously, they only made not even more than 30,000 of them. If you really want the Model 30, the actual instead of the Express, good luck. There's only 3,000 of those. But pretty much, yeah, it runs kind of like a price-wise near kind of what like a U.S. Model 1917 would run, give or take depending on the condition. Other than that, it's all right. In my opinion, it's not to, obviously I want to get some flack for this, but for Remington, this is like, I would call this like my garbage gun, not to be too mean on it. If I have like, because we come across a lot of not weird, but a lot of different ammo, ammo, surplus ammo, things like that.
I collect a lot of weird surplus 3006.
And ammo I think is questionable or corrosive or whatever. I'll just put it in this gun.
And it takes it.
I know, yeah, it takes it. I know people probably don't like that because it is a historic firearm. And then, shooting-wise, it's a bit of a burden.
It hurts.
It depends on what exact cartridge you're shooting out of it.
You know when you shoulder that one wrong.
Yeah.
You know when you shoulder this one wrong.
It's definitely, it's understandable. It's obviously a 24-inch barrel. There's really no weight up front. All of it's back here. It is very easy to shoulder, I will tell you that, but sight picture, not that great, but the recoil on it, depending on what cartridge you're actually firing or what velocity ammo or whatever,
it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt more.
Gonna hurt. The lighter loadings for a 30-06 would be preferred in this gun, in my opinion. I'm not a hunter. I'm just some idiot that likes to collect guns.
We're Sims.
Yeah, pretty much. And we're gun Sims. Yeah. So I mean, that's the way it is.
We did find out one thing.
We did. Yes. As we were going through these videos, we did find out one thing.
You take this bayonet. It's this bayonet has good ASMR sound.
Yeah.
Where's my microphone?
What? Oh, nice. So, I mean, if I totally do this, I'm gonna get yelled at or something. But I don't know.
Nobody's gonna care. I have a gun that people are gonna be like, "What?"
You can, since this is practically a Model 1917 turned into a sporting gun. This is a Model 1917's bayonet. That fits.
They didn't change the muzzle size.
They didn't change the muzzle size at all. I don't know if you can see that in the frame, but if I just braze on
a bayonet lug,
oh hell yeah!
Which you can get from Liberty Tree Collectors.
Oh hell yeah! So I don't know.
That might help with the recoil on this thing.
I don't know. That might be pretty cool.
It's only a sword bayonet.
That would actually, if I did that, I would probably like this gun a lot more than I do. I don't like it that much. I have a pretty extensive collection of things. This is down there in the. This is the back of the safe, kind of where this gun sits. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Like even as somebody like me who is a hunter, this gun like. It doesn't draw a lot to me.
If you're into that kind of stuff, the interwar period of hunting rifles, this is definitely something pretty cool that you might want to add. Yet again, don't know where to find them. But
we have some sporting guns that you'll see on this channel.
Yeah, here and there.
Some of them are unique. Some of them are
surplus, boys. Dang it.
Some of them are.
So we're gonna try to keep it as surplus as we can. But
some of them have military roots. That's why we have them.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, because it's cheaper to buy the civilian version than it is to buy the military version.
Yeah. Obviously, beggars can't be choosers, especially when you have very, very tiny wallets like we do.
Yeah.
So I guess with that conclusion,
I guess that's about it.
That's pretty much about it. So we will see you in the future. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that algorithm junk that the gods want you to do, so we can at least be slightly more appreciated to them. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, that's it. Thank you for stopping by.
This is another good video while you're dropping a dew.
Yeah, exactly. When you're pooping, when you're eating, when you're ignoring people,
chewing your beer.
Yeah, chewing. No, this is not administrative results. This is surplus boys. We can't steal his monarch or whatever the heck he does.
I know.
So anyway, but yeah. see you later. Join us in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sponsor us, Monster. This is good shit.
It's good shit.
Aussie lemonade, fucking monster. It's good.